Hello and welcome to US Football Forum, where football is king.
I'm about to sing a song.
Move! Now I'm really excited about this. I know the XFL and really all the sports at this point are currently on a hiatus due to this COVID-19 pandemic. And for one thing, guys, I hope that everybody's being safe. I hope that everybody's staying home. Just stay home, please, so we can stop the spread of this thing, man. But listen, I won't lie to you. I was building a Who Is series that I was really excited about, and it looks like a lot of you guys are really excited about, and I'm not gonna lie. It hit me in my heart when I heard that the XFL was gonna end due to COVID-19. And so I was kind of at a loss. I was in this period of what do I do now? The XFL is done. I was really excited about it, and I wanted to share it with a fan base and an audience base that would appreciate my content, but it's kind of hard to make content when the XFL was not in existence anymore, or at least for the 2020 season. And there was no word or anything said about there being a continuation of the league. So, got the brain train rolling a little bit. A lot of you guys came back with some information. Some people still wanted to hear about some players out there. That really helped me in making my next decision to continue the Who Is series and maybe take a different spin on this thing. Instead of talking about players that now we can't talk about it anymore from week to week because the season ended in 5 weeks. Now we can talk about these players that are actually being drafted. For some of them, I don't know some of these guys. There have been a couple defensive players that's been drafted. There are a couple guys that I've covered that haven't been drafted yet into the NFL, or I say drafted. They haven't been signed into the NFL yet. But there's one guy in particular that I've been a fan of from the jump, and I cannot wait to cover this guy.
And now, our feature presentation.
So now that we have the PSA out the way, you guys are at home, you guys are safe, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it all, man. In the latest installment of the Who Is series, we covered Cam Phillips. The guy we're talking about today is his teammate. More specifically, the guy who's been throwing Cam Phillips the ball. Now, if you haven't had the chance to watch that entry on Cam Phillips, be sure you go check that out. If you've been following this series for a while, you will notice that a lot of these athletes have a similar story. They're usually some type of underdog story where they were maybe looked over or had a chance in the NFL, and it might not have panned out for them for whatever reason, or they might have been in the NFL but they've been just on a practice squad and just going through the cycle of the practice squad routine, and the XFL was a way for them to really flex their muscles, show their talent on a pro level stage, and really get some high quality reps in front of a camera, in front of a grand audience, an audience that was, like myself, excited about the XFL. I find that these stories are usually the best stories because they're a little bit more realistic. They give a more down-to-earth approach, that it wasn't just this guy who was born into this family full of athletes or had two stellar athletic parents or something of that nature. Most of the time, there are these stories, like PJ Walker, the guy we're talking about today, who might not pass the quote-unquote eye test of a quarterback because he's not 6'3" or 6'5". He doesn't have 4'3", 4'4" speed like Lamar Jackson. PJ Walker, he's 5'11", 215, and has a pocket passer mentality. PJ Walker is categorized as a dual threat QB. But if you've ever sat and watched any of the XFL games this man has played in the 5 weeks that we did have it, you would notice that PJ Walker is a pocket passer. He can extend plays with his feet, but doesn't necessarily have to run. Wait, okay, let's slow down a little bit. This is a Who Is entry, and I'm about to go into a football breakdown rant. My bad, my apologies. I haven't even asked y'all the question yet. Sheesh, where are my manners, bruh? So, I ask you guys, who is this dime-dropping QB talent? Who is this Superman-esque XFL 5-week legend? Who is PJ Walker? So let's start from the beginning. Well, let's start as far back as the internet will let me go. Philip PJ Walker attended Elizabeth High School in Elizabeth, New Jersey, where they should have already built a statue for this man. The type of numbers PJ was putting up in high school didn't even make sense. He was a 4-year starter in high school who was classified as a dual threat QB, but absolutely lit up the state record books. He would be considered as one of the most accurate QBs during his 2012 junior season. This man completed 120 of 189 passes. For my math whizzes out there, that's 63.5% of his passes that were completed. Stop and think about that. Throughout an entire high school football season, this man was barely missing. On top of that, he would pass for 2,168 yards with 18 passing touchdowns. The 2012 Newark Star Ledger Star Offensive Player of the Year would also lead his team to a 2012 state title. PJ's high school football stellar production would garner him some quality collegiate attention. Those programs would include Temple, UConn, East Carolina, James Madison, and UMass. PJ will ultimately sign with Temple Owls on February 6, 2013, under head coach Matt Rule. Matt Rule will be a familiar face in PJ's present-day NFL situation with the Carolina Panthers, but more on that later. Now, go ahead and get your popcorn ready because PJ's collegiate career as a Temple Owl was nothing less than amazing. The thing I like about PJ the most as a quarterback is that he continually seems to play with this chip on his shoulder. He doesn't back down in the face of adversity or competition. He's like a natural born winner. No matter the circumstances, he has a winning mentality. Whether it's a team-driven mentality or his own individual purpose, he just wants to win. During his freshman year at Temple, PJ would not get the starting QB spot over junior QB Connor Riley. This wouldn't stop him from fighting for the spot though, as he would get multiple shots during his freshman year for the starting role. He would eventually earn a starting role in a televised Week 6 performance against the Cincinnati Bearcats, where he threw his first touchdown. This first touchdown would be the confidence builder that would lead PJ to finish his 2013 freshman season with 2,084 yards and 20 touchdown passes. Think about that. He only started playing halfway through the season and still ended over 2,000 yards passing and 20 passing touchdowns. Crazy. Walker's 2014 sophomore year would go pretty well, as he would make history leading the Temple Owls to their first victory over an SEC team since 1938. This SEC team would be Vanderbilt, where Temple would win 37-7. That would be one major highlight of PJ's sophomore year. He would finish that sophomore season with 2,317 yards passing on 13 touchdowns. Okay, so PJ would start both his junior and senior season. But of the two seasons, PJ's senior season would be his best. One unique Temple tradition and award is one which players are awarded a single-digit jersey number. These single-digit awards are only given to those players who exhibit toughness, and if it's one thing PJ had, was definitely toughness. Adding to a laundry list of other incredible accomplishments, he would break Temple's all-time passing yards record during a season opener against Army. He would tie a school record with 445 yards passing and 36 completions on 59 attempts against the University of Memphis, and he would throw for his 20th multi-touchdown against Cincinnati. Yes, his senior year had plenty of bright spots, and more records were broken that year than any other player in Temple's history. Upon the end of his senior year, he would collect a plethora of awards, including the 2016 American Athletic Conference Championship Game Most Outstanding Player, the CFPA National Player of the Year watch list, Offensive Production Player of the Week versus Tulane, and Offensive Production Player of the Week versus Cincinnati and Navy. The list goes on. He would leave Temple as the all-time leader in pass attempts with 1,458. He would have 830 completions, 10,668 yards passing, and 74 touchdown passes, with 11,100 yards of total offense. Lastly, he would be the first quarterback in Temple's history to lead their team to multiple bowl games. In the words of the great Stephen A. Though Walker had an amazing tenure at Temple, he would go 20-8 in his final two seasons at Temple under head coach Matt Rule. A good last two seasons stat-wise and record-wise, but nothing that would gain Walker enough attention to be drafted in the 2017 NFL Draft. He was rated the 32nd best quarterback in the 2017 draft class. A high honor indeed, but just not enough. He would also have a pretty good pro day that would leave an impression that was good enough to give PJ a chance to sign as an undrafted free agent to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I'm a firm believer that a lot of times it's all about being in the right place at the right time. Knowing the right people, working hard when no one's looking, and being very, very patient. I believe PJ exhibited all of these qualities as he would be waived, released, and re-signed to the Colts practice squad several times between May of 2017 and September 2019, until he was finally released by the Colts. Again, right place, right time, who you know, working hard, and most importantly, being patient. All of these will pay off because someone was watching. This player was none other than Andrew Luck, starting QB of the Colts at the time. Luck's dad, Oliver Luck, was announced as the commissioner of the newly branded 2020 XFL. Oliver Luck would be quoted saying, "Andrew had been pushing him to me." He would go on to tell the Houston Chronicle via USA Today, "Dad, I'm telling you, this guy can play. He's a good player. He's a good kid and a hard worker, and he's hungry to play." See, there's that thing again. Somebody noticed. Head coach of the XFL Roughnecks, June Jones, felt that Walker would be the perfect QB for his run and shoot system. Initially, Walker would split reps with previous Michigan State quarterback Connor Cook during training camp. Walker would soon emerge as the favorite as he was named the starter for the Houston Roughnecks for the Week 1 matchup against the Los Angeles Wildcats. Head coach June Jones' decision would be a good one, as PJ proved to be a great decision for the Week 1 W. PJ would finish that game 23 of 39 passing for 272 yards, had 4 touchdowns and only 1 interception that came late in the game. The Week 1 performance would not be his last stellar game, as he would end the 5-week XFL season as the XFL's passing leader. He would complete 119 passes on 184 attempts for 1,338 yards, had 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a passer rating of 104.4. Crazy! In this short amount of time, his play on the field would grant him another shot at the NFL. After a familiar face from PJ's past, head coach Matt Rule was now the head coach for the Carolina Panthers. March 25, 2020 would mark the day that Walker would sign his 2-year contract with the Carolina Panthers, sealing a second reunion with his previous head coach from Temple. You can't help but root for PJ's story. He's worked really hard, remained patient, and has let his play on the field speak for itself. Any team, whether NFL or XFL, would be fortunate to have a QB like PJ. He constantly speaks of this never give up mentality on his social media, which I admire a lot. Working hard is what we fans don't get to see between game days. But from gauging his performances in high school, college, and the pros, this man knows how to work. PJ's story isn't done though. He's still young, and I know he will be missed during the 2021 season of the XFL. I know we all are rooting for him, especially if he gets to play a game in the NFL. I don't know if he'll ever get a chance to start, but I know if he sticks around just long enough, he'll get that opportunity. PJ is a stellar quarterback, and for the 5 weeks we got to enjoy him, I look forward to see what his future holds. This has been another installment of our Who Is series on US Football Forum. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that like button if you enjoy the content. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.